You've also studied in this course so far the idea of information and data, and sort of the difference between information and data. And if you like, information is a socio-technical concept. It's a concept which says it matters what people want, as it says in the definition, the accounts of the world that people seek in order to satisfy their psychological needs, and on the basis of which they might take action. That's our working definition of information, and if you've done your exercises, you will have looked it up in other textbooks and so on, and contrasted other people's accounts of what is information. But it's certainly about people and people's needs and desires. But in order to have information, we need some, often, usually, technical apparatus, computers in our case, in order to represent what's going on in the world and hold it and process it in a machine. So the data becomes the basis for information. And if we take information and data together, they represent, as it were, a socio-technical concept. People, information, and data, the more technical side of the thing. And you can't have one without the other. You can't have information without data, and I'm not sure you can sort of have data without information, in the sense, unless people have a need or a desire, we're probably not going to invest the resources in generating or storing or processing the data. So there's another use of the socio-technical idea in core concepts for this course. In the next section, though, we'll turn more to the organizational perspective, or the organizational use of socio-technical ideas. And we're going to do so by talking about Leavitt's diagram. Leavitt was an American organizational theorist interested in technology and organizations, and he came up and presented this simple four concept model of organizations, which says that they can be described in terms of structure, technology, people, and the tasks they do. Of course, real organizations have quite complicated structures. Think of the college you study in, perhaps. It's not straightforward, the structure. They have variety of people, variety of technologies, and variety of tasks. So it's not, this is very much an abstraction, as our models we use in studying these subjects often are. But it tells us a truth, which is those things are always there. And what's more, if you change any one of them, for example, introducing a new technology, then you probably have some consequences for the others. So think of an example where technology is changed and it has consequences. Well, an example may be when we move from using desktop technologies, computers, PCs, to using iPads or tablets or maybe mobile phones. The technology changes and it has consequences for the tasks we do, the way we do them. It has consequences for how we as people behave and the way we approach our work, and it probably has consequences for the structure of the organization. Sometimes that technological change is going from paper-based working to online working. For example, in recent times, that's the change which has occurred or is occurring in hospitals and clinics in healthcare. The new technology comes in, people stop keeping patient records on paper, they start using the new technology for that, and the consequences for the tasks they do and how they do them, for the structure of the organization and for the various people, can be quite profound. If you like, in Leavitt's diagram, the main socio-technical dimension is between people and technology, and the main, if you like, organizational dimension is between structure and tasks, the vertical. But the basis of the model is still change one, expect change in all the others. So perhaps to sort of reinforce this idea, try and think of an example of how new technology may have an effect on people and task. I've used an example, or I've hinted at an example maybe in healthcare, but maybe closer to home. Think of an example in your own life as being a student in an educational institution, to the extent you are. Maybe some of you are more fixed in a college than others who are watching this video. But as the technology changes, and perhaps the technology change is the use of video, as we are here today, and online teaching resources. That's, if you like, a technology-led change, but it's going to change the task of revision, perhaps, and it's maybe going to have consequences for you, the people. You're going to behave differently, and maybe organize yourselves differently, maybe even structure the way you do revision, individually or in groups or teams, might change a bit too. And maybe it becomes a bit more individualistic. I don't know. What do you think?